And we are back, everybody, at the Bettor's Edge. What a night we had last night for those of you that tailed and followed. Let's start very briefly with yesterday's action. But before I get into that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We had a massive day yesterday. We started in the video, I mentioned it was the play of the day. It was Vandy at home against LSU. I talked to you guys about the balance that Vanderbilt football has offensively and defensively. And I talked to you guys about how LSU's offense was not going to be able to keep up with the Vanderbilt offense. The LSU defense was solid. They didn't perform very well yesterday. I told you an early game in the college football slate that Vanderbilt would get out of that game with the victory, and they did exactly that. Let's move into the second game that I talked to you guys about yesterday. It was a 3-star banger that I gave you guys on Vanderbilt money line minus 120. The second game that I talked about played out exactly how I predicted it would. I told you guys with the Duke Blue Devils, you can't be laying 3 points at home against a Georgia Tech team because you don't know if you can trust Duke in this situation to not beat themselves. This is a team yesterday that absolutely dominated the first half, and they were still only tied at halftime. They had a fumble 6 on the 1-yard line going in to score a touchdown to take the lead. Georgia Tech ends up picking it up and scoring a touchdown and going up 7-0. On the next Duke possession, they're in field goal range. They muff or fumble the snap. They don't even get a field goal attempt off. You can't trust the Duke Blue Devils, and that's why I told you be wary, be cautious of laying 3 in that spot. It wasn't a bet, but I told you stay away from Duke. They ended up getting blown out in the second half. I talked about this on the video yesterday. My second bet for the day, if you follow me on X at Bettor's Edge TV, I upgraded this from a 1-star to a 3-star. It was a massive sweat, but we ended up cashing. We had the Georgia Bulldogs on the money line, and we had the Alabama Crimson Tide on the money line. This was a minus 130 bet when you combine the two money lines together, and we ended up hitting that for another three units. 2-0 on both of our bets yesterday for a total of 6 units. Moving into today's card, guys, there's not a ton that I love. I'm going to start with 1 or 2 games that are similar to Duke yesterday. These are stay away from games, and then I'll get into my official plays for today. First stay away game is the New England Patriots. This is a good team. The Patriots are definitely on the up. Mike Vrabel is going back to Tennessee. However, guys, there are a few different components that you have to take into account before you bet on this game. Number 1, the New England Patriots should not be 7-point favorites on the road against anybody, absolutely anybody in the NFL. That's number 1. You're paying a premium price on New England at -7 that is undeserving. Number 2, who knows? Nobody knows what you're going to get from the Tennessee Titans today with a new head coach. Brian Callahan, the first head coach fired this season, was fired on Monday of last week. After last week's loss, he was fired straight away. Now they have a new head coach. Typically, when coaches are fired and a new coach is brought in mid-season, there's a little bit of an uptick in performance. I think you're going to get a better performance today from Tennessee, which is probably obvious because they've been absolutely terrible this season, than we are accustomed to seeing from them. Because of all of those components, I tell you guys, be very, very careful on the New England Patriots today, laying 7 points. I would never bet on the Patriots in this spot. I wouldn't be surprised if they win. I would expect the Patriots to win this game. However, there's a lot of different components that need to be factored in that would lean me strongly to staying away from the Patriots. Not to mention, this is a Vrabel returning to Tennessee type of game. Most people look at it saying Vrabel's going to want to put it on them, and he might. But the Tennessee Titans also may want to put it on Vrabel as well. So be very careful laying the points with the New England Patriots. Second game that I see a lot of people having a ton of interest in is the Detroit Lions laying 6 at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tap the brakes right there right away. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are probably, pound for pound, the most impressive team in the NFL right now. Baker Mayfield is probably the most impressive individual player in the entire NFL right now. Looking at this game, there is no way whatsoever the Detroit Lions should be laying 6 in this spot. I think we saw these two teams face off. If I'm not mistaken, if my memory doesn't backfire on me here, I think we saw these two teams face off either last year or the year before, and it was a neck and neck race all the way down to the wire. It might have even gone to overtime, and if it didn't go down to overtime, it definitely went down to the end of the game in the fourth quarter. This is the type of game that you're going to see again in Detroit between these two teams. This is a shootout. It's going to be a back and forth affair. Neither team is going to win this game by 6 points. Stay away from the Lions. Let's get into my actual game picks for today, guys. And there's not a ton that I love. Yesterday's card for college football, I loved significantly more. But there are a couple of games that I do like a lot. Let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs laying 11.5 points at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. This Kansas City Chiefs team right now is starting to play their best brand of football. I talked about it on last week's episode. I said the play of the day last week was the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Detroit Lions. They ended up winning that game rather easily. They're now getting their star wide receiver, star if you want to call him that, wide receiver back, and Rashee Rice. This offense is starting to look a little bit more like the Kansas City offense that we're used to. And that defense has never let us down. It's been an elite unit week in and week out. That's what we're going to get from Steve Spagnuolo and that defensive unit for today. My first pick for today is on the Kansas City Chiefs minus 11.5. The Chiefs are going to win this game. They're going to win this game going away rather easily. This Vegas team is not very good. And as I just mentioned, Kansas City, now we're 7 weeks. Today's week 7 in the NFL. You really start to see teams start to get out of that first 4 or 5 week preseason form, if you will. Bill Belichick used to say the first 4 weeks were just an extension of preseason. And a lot of teams treat it as such. You're starting to see this Chiefs team now, out of that extension of preseason, if you will, really start to round into form that we're accustomed to seeing from them. You're going to see, once again, an elite performance from this Kansas City Chiefs team. First bet for today, and I'm going to have a second bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, which I'm going to get to in just a second. Kansas City Chiefs minus 11.5. They're going to win this game going away. Second bet, guys. Another game and another team that I've talked to you guys about a couple of times on this show. It's the New York Giants on the road getting 7.5 versus the Denver Broncos. That's the line. I see a lot of people looking at this game saying New York Giants are on extra rest, which they are. Jackson Dart is playing excellent football. They just beat the Philadelphia Eagles at home convincingly, which they did. Now we're getting 7.5 points against a Denver team, which is good, but we just got to cover a touchdown. Tap the brakes there, guys. A couple of different reasons why, and there's an official play on this game. This is not a tap the brakes message. First and foremost, this Denver team is playing better football than the Philadelphia Eagles. We know that. We just saw them go into Philadelphia down 17 points and beat them in the fourth quarter, number one. Number two, this Denver defense is an elite unit. Jackson Dart is going to struggle today. If there's a place for a young quarterback to struggle and struggle mightily and really have a welcome to the NFL moment over the years, it's at Mile High Stadium in Denver. You're going to see that today. This Denver team is most likely going to blow out the New York Giants, is my guess. However, I don't want to lay the 7.5 points. I'm going to buy that down to New York Giants minus 2.5. Denver Broncos minus 2.5 in this game. I don't see any way whatsoever the New York Giants winning this game. I wouldn't be shocked if they get blown out. If they decide to keep it close and ends up being a little bit closer than I expected, I'm covering myself just a bit. The Broncos are going to win this game. They're a significantly better team. They're a better coach team, and you can rely and trust this Denver team. I talk to you guys about trust a lot. Whether it's college football, whether it's NFL, you have to be able to trust teams in certain spots and in certain moments. Numbers do matter. The Giants don't know how to win games. I know they just won last week and they've been competitive, but they beat themselves far too often. I talked about it when they went on the road against New Orleans. They had 5 turnovers on 5 straight possessions or something crazy like that. We're going to see something similar like that today. I want to combine these 2 picks together, guys, for the official play of the day. It's a 3-star bet. Kansas City on the money line, Denver on the money line. Bang them both together. Neither one of these 2 teams are losing today. There's a ton of games on the card. It's a lot of action as normal on a Sunday slate. But a lot of these games, which I've talked to you about a couple of them already, stay away. Be very cautious on where you're putting your hard-earned money, because there are traps that are set out for this week, which is why I'm treading very, 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 very lightly. There are only 2 teams on this entire card, Kansas City and Denver, which I absolutely love. The rest of these games are either hard break, stay away, or no edge whatsoever. Guys, we are smashing it here. Every single day I'm giving you guys play of the day winners, and they're winning rather easily. We had a little bit of a sweat yesterday with the Georgia Bulldogs on the money line, but we ended up cashing that ticket. With that said, guys, like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel. The channel is growing. We're moving slowly but surely. But as I continue to give you guys daily winners and daily play of the day bangers, which I'm doing each and every single day, there's no way to go but up for this channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel again, guys. I'm going to cash again, just like I did yesterday, just like I did last weekend, just like I did all of last week. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for more bangers.